So for any of you that have watched some of my reviews, you could probably tell that I love cooperative games, especially couch co-ops. I think it is by far the most entertaining category of video games and massively underappreciated across the board. Here to put that underappreciated notion to absolute shame, and in a good way, is It Takes Two, a new release from Hazelight Studios and published under the EA Originals umbrella. For whatever reason, I never heard anything about It Takes Two until maybe a couple weeks before its release. I'm usually on top of these things, so I don't know why that was, but I did take a chance on the game based on a description of the concept alone and the reputation of the studio. For anyone that remembers, Hazelight's first game was a cooperative prison break game called A Way Out, which I still have on my backlog to finish, but it did receive pretty much universal praise upon its release as it pertained to its cooperative gameplay. So, what is It Takes Two? Well, like the title indicates, the game is a two-player only, slightly asymmetric cooperative platforming game. Each player takes control of one of the dolls, who represent the main character's parents, Cody and May, that have magically come to life after their daughter hears the news of their potential divorce. Across various levels, either online or in split screen, you will use a variety of platforming and action skills to defeat enemies, solve puzzles, or get past obstacles. You will see that the sheer variety in the gameplay and level design is truly something to behold. I really haven't seen 3D platforming this original and polished in a long, long time. In terms of the gameplay itself, there are only a few controls that stay the same throughout the game, like jump, sprint, and dive, which by the way are always responsive and control perfectly. Everything else you can do varies from level to level or even within new set pieces. For example, in the first chapter, Cody gets the ability to shoot nails in order to lock platforms or help May out in other ways. May will then use her hammerhead to swing from the nails to traverse to the next obstacle. In a later chapter, each character is given a makeshift weapon from a team of militant squirrels, one of which shoots a gel-like substance and the other a fiery arrow that can cause explosions when combined.
Boom!
I'll let you discover the rest, but each combination is distinctively unique and keeps the game fresh throughout the entire campaign. Part of what makes the game incredibly enjoyable is its focus on the levels themselves. This is not a collectathon, which is often the downfall of many 3D platforming games, but instead, It Takes Two simply relies on intelligent game design. The moments where you need to work together are inventive and original, but with enough challenge to stay engaged. You'll have a few more frustrations with a casual gamer, but nothing is ever unfair, especially with a very forgiving save system. The only other distraction of sorts from the main game itself are occasional and optional mini-games sprinkled throughout the levels to break up the game action. These are mostly lovely fun breaks that can also be replayed outside of story mode once unlocked.
Yes, I'm the champion!
Before wrapping up this review, I do want to mention the level design throughout the entirety of the game is incredible. I get a lot of Toy Story 2 vibes, not the movie per se, but the video game, if anyone remembers that platformer back in the day. This is partly because you are playing as toy-sized dolls traversing a much larger human universe, and the puzzles themselves play off that dynamic perfectly. It Takes Two definitely takes a more creatively abstract approach at times to that formula, but it all works and is wonderfully imaginative from start to finish. Also, the game really looks like it takes inspiration from the Disney Pixar playbook in terms of the visual journey and storyline, which is a good thing even if the story might wear thin at times.
Are you chickening out?
No.
Even if you were to ignore the multiplayer aspect of the game, this would be the best 3D platforming experience for me since Super Mario Odyssey, and scores a 93. It Takes Two has major Nintendo-esque vibes in terms of the gameplay, level design, and charm, but also brings an extra level of originality to the genre with the cooperative focus and represents a true, incredibly smooth, next-gen experience on a technical level as well. While the story didn't hit for me as much as I'm sure the game would have liked, as a divorce story is a somewhat tired media trope, it does work well within the context of the game and paces the game perfectly over its 12 to 15 hour campaign. I honestly think it's safe to say that It Takes Two is the best co-op 3D platformer ever made, and it deserves its name mentioned among some of the all-time greats. You will definitely need to pick this one up immediately or hop on with a friend who already owns the game with its free Buddy Pass system online. Regardless, definitely check this one out as soon as you possibly can.